Family is supposed to protect you, to love you. But in these 5 real-life tragedies, the very people meant to keep their loved ones safe turned into their worst nightmare. These aren't strangers lurking in the dark. These are sons, daughters, siblings, and spouses who betrayed their families in the most horrific ways. From calculated executions on Christmas Eve to a daughter who lured hitmen with a promise of love, these are the 5 most shocking family massacres committed by their own. On Christmas Eve 2007, Wayne and Judy Anderson welcomed their family over for a holiday dinner at their home in Carnation, Washington. But what no one knew was that their own daughter, Michelle Anderson, had spent weeks plotting their murder. With the help of her boyfriend, Michelle shot her parents' execution style, then calmly waited for her brother, his wife, and their 2 children to arrive. When they did, they too were murdered. Each one lured in, unsuspecting, into a house already soaked in blood. Why? Michelle felt disrespected. She was angry over money and believed her family had turned their backs on her. In her mind, killing them was justice. 6 innocent lives were wiped out in a single evening by the daughter and sister they once trusted. In Salisbury Township, Pennsylvania, 2 teenage brothers, Brian and David Freeman, were deeply influenced by white supremacist ideology. Shaved heads, swastika tattoos, and hatred in their eyes, they turned against the people who had raised them. On a February night in 1995, the boys, along with a cousin, bludgeoned their father, mother, and 11-year-old brother to death. The weapon? A metal bar. Their motive? Rebellion and rage. They resented their parents' strict rules, especially regarding their racist beliefs. But what chilled investigators most was the calculated nature of the attack and the complete lack of remorse. They tried to flee but were captured after a nationwide manhunt. In court, they smirked. Family wasn't sacred to them. It was just a target. Erin Caffey was just 16 when she masterminded the brutal murder of her entire family in Alba, Texas. Her parents disapproved of her relationship with an older boy, so Erin decided to erase them. On March 1st, 2008, her boyfriend and 2 accomplices stormed into the cafe home. Erin's mother was shot and then stabbed over 40 times. Her 2 younger brothers, just 8 and 13, were executed in their beds. The house was then set on fire. Erin waited down the road in a car, cold, calculating. Her father, Terry Caffey, miraculously survived 5 gunshot wounds and crawled 300 yards to a neighbor's house. He would later testify against his daughter, the same girl who once sang in the church choir. She had plotted everything because she couldn't have her way. In April 2016, 8 members of the Roden family were found shot to death across 4 different homes in Pike County, Ohio. At first, it seemed like a drug-related hit, but the truth was far more personal and far more terrifying. Investigators uncovered a web of secrets, surveillance, and obsession. The killers? The Wagner family, former in-laws of one of the victims. At the heart of it all was a custody dispute over a toddler. The Wagners had been plotting the massacre for months, stalking the Rodens, hacking into their phones, even forging documents. Then, in a single night, they executed the plan with military precision. No mercy, no loose ends. It was one of the largest homicide investigations in Ohio's history. A whole family annihilated by another family. Anthony Todd was a respected physical therapist in Florida. He seemed like a doting husband, a caring father. But in December 2019, police entered his rented home and discovered a nightmare. Inside, the decomposing bodies of his wife, 3 children, and even the family dog. Todd had been living with the corpses for weeks. When questioned, he claimed they had made a pact to cross over together. But evidence showed the truth. He had drugged and suffocated them. Financial ruin, fraud investigations, and a deteriorating grip on reality all seemed to collide. but nothing could explain how a man who once cuddled his kids at bedtime became their executioner. He pled guilty to all 4 murders. In his own words, "I failed." These aren't just stories of violence, they're stories of betrayal by those closest to the victims. And while the world watched in shock, the question always remains: how could someone destroy the people who trusted them most? Which case disturbed you the most? Let us know in the comments. And if you think these are chilling, next week we cover 5 people who predicted their own murders and still couldn't escape.